Thank you all for coming out today. This is a historic day in Framingham that we begin to fix the broken window in our community. I'd like to introduce the Chairman of the Board of Selectmen for Framingham to bring greetings to the Governor for taking time out of his very busy day to come to Framingham. Cheryl Tully-Stoll.
Thank you, Ed. I want to welcome all of you, and especially Governor Baker, to this event that means such a great deal to our community. On behalf of the Board of Selectmen, I want to thank everyone for attending. Our station has been very functional, and this joint initiative is going to make it so much more than functional. And I just want to thank the collaborators who have made this possible today. The state, the MBTA, the MWRTA, Keolis, and the town of Framingham. And what has happened today is we have shown that when we work together, we can raise our goals and bring a collective vision to reality, and we can do it in a reasonable period of time. So thank you, everybody, for all of your assistance, and I hope you have a lovely afternoon here.
Welcome, everybody. It's nice to see so many friendly faces out here. I think it's wonderful to have so many advocates for the Metro West area. Very briefly, I'll recognize Cheryl and Kathy Bartolini from the Metro West Board of Directors. I'd also be remiss as Director of the RTA to recognize our employees who work so hard to keep this operation going. And very quickly, Eva Williams, the boss behind this whole operation, besides Ed, of course. Lisa, Linda, Sarah White, who worked so hard on this project, John, Joy, Isha, Pat, Bruce, Dan, Jerry, Danny, Emily, Billy, and Jerry. The whole team, thank you very much. I have to admit that I'm excited about doing this event because not only because it's a great collaborative between the Metro West group and the RTA and the MBTA and lifting all boats in that regard, but also because I get to wear my commuter rail tie. And I don't get to wear this to many events. This is a perfect fit for this. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce and welcome the 72nd Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Charlie Baker.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you all for being here today. I also want to thank all the folks from the legislature for being here as well. Our partners in either success or crime, depending upon how you think about it. And I also want to say how much I appreciate Secretary Pollock's presence and General Manager Brian Shortsley's presence as well from the MBTA. I'm going to make a couple of very brief remarks. The first one is the chair of your Board of Selectmen, at the end of her run through on the people that were involved in getting this accomplished, said, and it got done in a reasonable period of time. That's like magic to my ears, you know, just music. And I think in some ways that's a very important part of a lot of the things we're trying to pursue. And whether you're talking about this partnership today, which is basically going to make it possible to almost double the size of the parking capacity that's available here, and also put what I would describe as sort of the local folks in charge of maintaining and managing their site is a terrific way for us to work collaboratively with our colleagues here in Framingham on what I believe will not only make it possible for more people to more effectively and efficiently access the commuter rail, which is a great thing, but in addition to that, we'll sort of all be in the family with respect to the concerns and the issues people may have about what's going on here at the station. I also want to say that we spent a significant amount of time over the course of the spring and the summer working on the Worcester line, and one of my more interesting events that I attended earlier this summer was the event where we were replacing railroad ties. How many railroad ties did you guys replace? 30,000? If you've never seen this, it's like 14 single-purpose Dr. Seuss machines that come down the railroad tracks one at a time, and they each have a special assignment with respect to how this works. And I watched it, I looked at it, I thought, I can't believe you can get 5 railroad ties replaced with this, much less 30,000. And you were telling me, how many a week was that thing doing?
It was several thousand.
It was several thousand a week. We've also replaced all of the third rail on the exposed third rail on the orange line and the red line, which should mean a far better performance along those lines this winter. And we also recently announced another partnership that got done in a reasonable period of time between the MBTA and Uber and Lyft to provide point-to-point transportation services for people with disabilities. If people want to continue to use the ride, that's great. But one of the concerns we had about the ride is for a lot of folks with disabilities, it's a 3 or 4 step process to get somewhere, and a point-to-point process is a dramatic improvement for them. And some of the folks at Perkins, which is where we had the event, said that the round trip for them was going to go from 4 to 4.5 hours to something more like 60 to 70 minutes. And the fact that they didn't have to order it 24 hours in advance, that they could order it the same way everybody else does, which is at the point when they actually want to access it, is just going to provide them with a significant amount of dependability, reliability, and freedom. And by the way, is also going to be a less expensive solution for the MBTA. And I think in some ways, one of the things I hope we do well as an administration is find opportunities to work with colleagues, to work with local communities, to work with regional transit authorities, and to work with other service providers to focus on what I think our most fundamental objective is, which is to improve the quality of the service that we deliver to the traveling public. I'm a Needham kid. I apologize in advance for that. I played Framingham in pretty much everything. Lost more often than we won. But this is a part of Massachusetts Metro West that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm very happy to be here today to participate in this celebration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. Next, I would like to introduce our Secretary of Transportation, Stephanie Paul.
So it would not come as a surprise to those of you who know Ed that the first time I came out to Framingham as secretary, he bent my ear and he had this interesting idea for this partnership that would between the Metro West RTA and the T. And as I toured this commuter rail facility, he talked to me about how this could work if we could somehow share some of the parking revenue and they could do the maintenance. And it will also not surprise those of you who know Ed that he then did not drop that idea for one moment. But I'm glad. I'm really glad, and I'm delighted to be here today, and I'm delighted that we were able to reach a partnership agreement in a relatively short amount of time. And the partnership is important to the T and to our commuter rail riders, 1,400 of whom use this station every day. The T has 130 commuter rail stations, and they're spread out pretty far geographically. And while our partner and commuter rail provider Keolis is responsible for maintaining, doing basic maintenance on the platforms, we don't have the bandwidth at the T to really make sure that that all of the maintenance and security and great customer amenities that we want to provide to our customers that we can do. And so partnerships like this one, we're hoping that this is the first but not the last of those, because we know that there are local partners in many MBTA served communities who can do a better job than the T can at making sure that on a day-to-day basis our customers are seeing a great station while they're waiting for their trains and when they're getting off their trains. But the other reason that this partnership is important that I want to emphasize is that Framingham as a community, as a town and as a community, is to be commended for the fact that Framingham has really recognized the value that this commuter rail station has for the future of the town, and is really building a lot of its downtown plan and its transit-oriented zoning around this station. And so it makes sense that given the importance of the station to the plans to be building more housing and to create more housing that people can afford and then walk to this station or drive to this station and park and get to jobs all along the Worcester line, it makes sense for the community to step up and say, hey, we want this station to be even better maybe than all the other commuter rail stations. And so this is important because transit-oriented development is ultimately actually the reason we're in the business. We're not just there to move people from one place to another. We're there to create opportunity and prosperity and connections. And so I'm particularly delighted that this is the station where this is happening, because I know how hard Framingham is working to bring developers in and to bring housing developers in and to zone for density and to make sure that this is going to be an even more heavily used station in the future, both because of the additional parking spaces, because of all the housing and jobs that are going to be in walking distance of where we're standing today. And so it's not only a partnership with Metro West about the maintenance of the station, it's a partnership with the town of Framingham about really leveraging the value of commuter rail for this town, and we're really delighted to be part of that partnership, both of those partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Those of you who have heard me speak before have heard me mention the phrase gung-ho, and a lot of people think it's about a Marine with a K-bar in his teeth with 2 grenades jumping off a cliff. But that's not what it is. Gung-ho is an old Chinese phrase meaning working together. And working together is one of the mainstays of the Marine Corps. And I dare say that 2 Marines working together can outwork 4 of anybody else, at the very least.
We would expect no less.
So with that, I would like to introduce a fellow Marine, Brian Shortsleeves.
Thank you, Ed, for the kind introduction, and thanks to all the elected officials that are here today. It's a really exciting time on the Worcester line. I ride the Worcester line every day, so I live the challenges that some of us who ride it have had. But I tell you, if you look at what's happening, as the governor talked about, we've replaced close to 30,000 ties. We're in the process of de-stressing the line. When all this is done, all the speed restrictions will be gone. And this is a line that moves almost 9,000 people every day from home to work and then back in the evening. So the Worcester line's our second busiest line at the T. It's a critical part of the system. I think these improvements, and particularly access to parking, is going to make a huge difference. We run 40 trains a day out of Worcester and back, and another 15 out of Framingham. So many of the trains that come out of Framingham are picking up our commuters all the way into Boston, through Newton and through Wellesley. So this is a really important project. It's great to see the local RTA getting involved. Parking on the commuter rail is really critical. Most people that ride the commuter rail access their car to get here. So we're excited to be part of it. I want to thank the local community for this, and for all the Worcester line riders that are here, the Framingham Worcester line riders, I should say. I think in the next year we're going to see a lot of really good things happen that continue to improve ridership experience on the line. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Next is my great privilege and honor to introduce the person who actually made our Metro West RTA possible with her hard work, and not only the hard work in the legislature, but backing it up with other kinds of support that you know, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went on to create it. And I can't thank the chairwoman of the Senate Ways and Means enough for that, Senator Karen Spilka.
Thank you, Ed. I want to thank the Governor, Secretary Pollack, and General Manager Shortsleeve for coming out here. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize my colleagues that are here who took the time in recognition of the importance of the Natick, Framingham, Wellesley to Worcester line to Boston. So I'd like to recognize Representative Chris Walsh, Representative Danielle Gregoire, Representative Alice Peisch, Representative Carmen Gentile, Representative Tom Senecandro, State Senator Jamie Eldridge, and Representative David Linsky, because we are a team that has worked hard to make this a reality. I just want to say, and I wasn't preparing to speak, so I won't speak for too long, which is a benefit to all of you, but when I think of the Metro West RTA, you know, I think of my older son's favorite book as a kid, which was The Little Engine That Could. And this RTA has been originally the little RTA that could and does. It was not something that was favored upon in its creation. In fact, I think back of the years that it was started, and so many people even urged then Governor Romney to veto its ability to be created, but it persisted, and it has grown to this amazing RTA that has woven together the fabric of now 15 community and growing 15 communities' lives in so many more ways than just transportation. It helped, and despite the feeling in its beginnings about the ride that only a few communities had and the need for service for disabled. It fought for that and created a terrific system so that all disabled residents of the serving communities get service now. And it's done so many other things that I just keep on thinking of it systematically huffing and puffing up that hill to become what I consider one of the premier RTAs in this state. And it serves as a model. So I wasn't surprised when Ed contacted me also about this proposal to take over this a commuter rail station. And of course, we all support him with this and all of his other endeavors, because not only does it increase the ridership, but it gives commuters, the consumers of this service, a much better ride. It will then foster more people taking the ride. There'll be more people able to park, better service, a better experience overall, and that's what we all strive for. And we want people to get off the roads where possible, take the train in, and just really enjoy. So I thank I thank Ed, I thank all of the staff at the RTA for day in, day out doing such a phenomenal job. And I thank you as the administration for being willing to look at a new partnership, because it is the power of partnerships that help make our Commonwealth strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator. Puffing and puffing. So I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce my good friend, Senator Jamie Eldridge, who is the co-chair of the Metro West Caucus. I dare say that when I first started in this business 20-ish years ago, that Metro West, to use the term, had no juice back then. But because of working together and these hardworking representatives and senators that you see up here, we do have juice now. We can get things done. And you know what? It's just looking great. So, Senator Eldridge, could you say a couple of words?
Thank you very much, Ed. And I'm speaking not only as the state senator for the Senate District west of Senator Spilka's, but as Ed mentioned, as the Senate chair of the Metro West Legislative Caucus. And I want to add that Representative Carolyn Dykema, who serves as the House chair, gives her regrets she couldn't be here. But speaking, if I may, on behalf of the entire Metro West Legislative Caucus, this is something that really benefits all of Metro West. Obviously, the maintenance partnership with Mass DOT and MWRTA helps tremendously, but also it's important to remember that there are residents from across Metro West that come here to Framingham to take the train into Boston. So this is going to be a significant improvement. I really want to praise Secretary Pollack for her vision and leadership on not only paying attention to Metro West, but every part of the state, and having the innovation vision to dramatically improve transportation throughout Massachusetts. I also want to thank Governor Baker for his close attention, as well as Lieutenant Governor Polito for their close attention to Metro West in every possible way. Ed has done a tremendous job as the head of the Metro West Transit Authority. And speaking for a district that represents Hudson and Marlborough, he's expanded the service to that area. As was mentioned by Ed, it would not have happened without, on the Senate side, the leadership of Senator Spilka, so I really praise her for creating the Metro West Regional Transit Authority. It's been a tremendous asset to all of Metro West. And I'll just finish and say that if the MBTA is improving commuter rail, and I have both the Fitchburg and the Worcester commuter rails that go through my district, but not adding parking, you're not really addressing traffic, climate change concerns, or other issues that are tied to economic development. So it's my hope that we can add more parking here and other stops along all the rails to make sure that it goes commensurate with the MBTA improvements for the rail, but also for the parking. So thank you very much for all the people who work so hard on this, and Ed, a particular praise to you for this partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator. Next is the town manager from Framingham, Bob Halpin.
Thank you, Ed. I want to join Chairman Tully Stoll in welcoming the governor, the secretary, the legislative delegation, and Ed, you know, what the Metro West RTA is doing in this partnership with the state so vitally supports what we're trying to do in downtown Framingham, and what the secretary alluded to, which is basically a diverse urban neighborhood that serves the entire Metro West region with good quality workforce-oriented housing within walking distance of the train station. I'll note that our modest but very, very valuable Complete Streets grant that was announced last week is a short distance away that will link Farm Pond and all of those acres of recreational assets to downtown for bicyclists and walkers. And Madam Secretary, it's absolutely a win. If we're successful in bringing the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail from Sudbury to Framingham into public ownership, we can connect the northern suburbs to this commuter rail station, including Framingham State. We're wrapping up a $10 million investment in the roadway and streetscape downtown, with another significant contribution from DOT as well as the federal government. That project, when it's complete next month, will bring the total public investment in downtown Framingham over the past 5 years to $40 million. And it's an amazing accomplishment for the state and the local government. We changed our zoning in October of 2015. We've had tremendous excitement around the prospect of high-density residential development downtown. We're on the verge. We've permitted 270 units of housing on Waverly Street. We're doing due diligence with a developer for another 170 on Concord. So we're on the verge of potentially $120 million in private investment in housing within walking distance of this asset. And that is a tremendous accomplishment. Ed and his support through the RTA has been a vital part of the team to make this happen. And I'll tell you, the greatest days are ahead for the downtown area of Framingham. Absolutely. So again, I thank you, and I thank you, Ed. Thank you all.
Thanks very much, Bob. The last person to speak here is the brand new general manager of Keolis, who has graciously accepted an invitation from us to come and say a couple of words. He's got his work cut out for him. He's from England, but don't hold that against him. This is David Story.
You're doing a hell of a job.
Hi, so as Ed says, I'm the brand new 3.5 weeks into being general manager of Keolis, and it's fantastic actually being new in the role to be able to come along and take part in such a positive event, something that's so important and groundbreaking. I have to declare a vested interest, as well as being brand new GM for Keolis. I'm a brand new resident of the Framingham area and a daily commuter rail user. So I'm delighted on many fronts for this. I know, although I'm new to the role, that over the last 2 years, the Keolis team have built up a great relationship with the MWRTA team. And, you know, looking around here today at this literally groundbreaking work, you can just see, as many people have so eloquently said, how beneficial this is going to be for this station, for the community in this area, for commuter rail, and everybody who uses it. So I think it's absolutely fantastic to see such an innovative project actually coming to life and already starting to deliver benefits. You can see it. So,
David, you should take full credit for it.
thank you.
You'll need to balance it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll get blamed for a whole bunch of things you have nothing to do with, too.
I'm going to be the guy in the photo, so history will go down as me being part of this. So thank you very much. But yeah, great to be here. Really looking forward to continuing working with Ed and the team over the coming months and years and developing the partnership even further. So thank you and well done, Ed.
Thank you. Unless any of the legislators want to say anything. Is it burning? Is it burning?
We're good.
No, okay, good. Thank you all so much for coming out today. This is a historic day. Thanks.